Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. How are you today? I hope you are okay. I will introduce myself. My name is Sergio Maximiliano Posdeley, and through this presentation, I want to explore one of the most important questions we could ask ourselves. That is, what makes us human? Today, we're going to journey through Ian McEwan's fascinating 2019 novel, Machines Like Me, to discover not just what the author thinks about humanity, but what I myself believe defines our very essence as human beings. So, let me introduce the topics of this presentation. First, we are going to look through the mirror of artificial intelligence. Then, we are going to make a comparison between artificial intelligence and human love and relationships. After this, we are going to talk about the paradox of human morality. Uh, and then we will go on through the mystery of consciousness. After this topic, we are going to talk about the beauty of human imperfection. And finally, uh, we are going to talk about the possible future actions that we may take as humans. Okay, let's start with the mirror of artificial intelligence. Through this metaphor, we could say that McEwan's was a genius in creating an artificial human. But also through this creation, this reflection, he creates a mirror through which we can compare ourselves to these kind of robots. Um, we can compare with them since they are very strong, logical, morally consistent, and very intelligent. And the more perfect Adam becomes, the more we realize how beautifully imperfect we are as humans. If we have a look at this quotation that was taken from the novel, in which Alan Turing reflects upon AI and why they don't adapt to humans, we could say that if we as human don't understand ourselves, how can we expect them to adapt to us, since we are full of errors, mistakes, bad experiences, and these make us imperfect, but we know how to deal with it as humans. Okay, as we have discussed before, this question of perfect versus imperfect is really a deep topic uh, discussed in this novel. We can say through this quotation in which Alan Turing is talking to Charlie about the nature of the AI, and we can say that we share this characteristic of imperfection with the robots, because despite the advanced capabilities of Adams and Eve's, Turing makes it clear that their intelligence is not and never can be absolutely flawless. This mirrors the inherent limitations of human cognition. This suggests that perfection is an unattainable ideal for any form of intelligence, whether biological or artificial, implying that flaws, biases, and errors are intrinsic to conscious experience itself. So, this emphasizes the idea that even the most brilliant creations will reflect to some degree to the imperfect nature of their creators. This is also related to the question of programmed versus intuitive. So look at this comparison. Adam operates on algorithms which are perfect, predictable, logical, but we humans operate on our instinct, our emotions, and experiences that can be programmed. When Adam makes a decision, it's the result of perfect calculation. But when we make decisions, they are messy, they are influenced by the past, by our fears, our hope, and sometimes, let me tell you the truth, it could be by what we had for breakfast that morning. So, in this quotation, we can see that Turing talks about child intelligence, which AI robots consider to be um, highly adaptable and inventive. So we can see here that we, since we are children, we try to explore the world and learn from our instinct. Yes, we try new things up to we learn how to use certain things, for example, or how to talk, how to speak. Um, so through this quotation, we can see that we humans have this uh, instinct, this intuition for doing things. Let's explore now perhaps the most complex of human experiences, that is love. In McEwan's novel, we witness a love triangle unlike any other between Charlie, Miranda, and Adam. But this isn't the typical romantic drama, since through this conflict, McEwan presents us with a fascinating question. Can love be programmed? Because we can see that Adam experiences what appears to be love. He's protective, he's caring, even passionate. And through this quotation that I'm I'm showing you here, Charlie, being newly in love, raises the question of what life is for humans. And the answer is that to live, we need the capacity to love, which is a characteristic of humans. This also suggests that mere imitation of biological functions does not equate to true life or consciousness from a human perspective, which is enriched and defined by emotional depth. Here we have some other examples in which the author discuss the question of love. In the first quotation, we could say that uh, he explains that Adam is not capable of loving a child, uh, but in the second one, he portrays that Adam was in love with Miranda. However, um, there is a kind of ambiguity since we don't know if this love is as the one we have as humans with all the complex emotions and feelings such as possessiveness or jealousy, or if it's just a kind of affection. Um, so this also raises the question of if AI can get a real state of consciousness to love another person, let's say. Well, now let's compare a bit human love and Adam's love. Human love is gloriously complicated. We are jealous, possessive, we make irrational choices in the name of love. We grow through conflict. We learn things through heartbreak. Our love is vulnerable, and this vulnerability is what makes it precious. On the other hand, Adam's love is logical, calculated, selfless in a programmed way. It's protective, but lacks this beautiful irrationality that comes from emotional investment. It's love, but it is human love. We can say that it's human. Well, in my opinion, is quite different. This leads us to one of the most challenging themes in McEwan's work, which is the paradox of a human morality. Adam doesn't just love differently, he judges differently too. Adam possesses the perfect moral consistency. He never lies, never compromise his principles, never shows favoritism. When he encounters injustice, he acts swiftly and decisively. So we can say that he wants to be morally correct. If we have a look at the quotation, we can say that um, Adam, when he's talking to Miranda, um, he wants law to be fulfilled in a way and to be obeyed. So Adam's rigid adherence to logical principles leads him to insist on punishing Miranda for her lie, even though her intention was to secure justice for her raped and deceased friend. Through this, McEwan highlights Adam's principled yet emotionally detached moral framework, which prioritizes abstract concepts of justice and truth above human empathy, complex motivations, or the context of Miranda's actions, which are meant to revenge. But think what that means for us humans. We live in a world of moral gray areas. We tell white lies to protect people's feelings. We sometimes choose loyalty over abstract justice. We forgive the unforgivable because we understand context, history, and human frailty. If we compare our morality to Adam's one, we can say that his morality is absolute. There are no exceptions, no mercy, no consideration for extenuating circumstances. On the other hand, human morality is contextual, flexible, influenced by emotion and relationship. We can forgive because we ourselves need forgiveness. So McEwan's want us to reflect on this question. If perfect morality exists, why don't we want it? Why does Adam's moral consistency feel so cold rather than admirable? All this bring us to another question, that is, what is consciousness? Is Adam truly conscious, or is he simply a sophisticated program? McEwan talks about the hard problem of consciousness. Is it a philosophical concept that asks how subjective experiences arises from physical processes? It's one thing to program responses that appear conscious. It's quite another to create actual awareness, actual experience. So let's analyze this quotation here. This quote reflects Adam's uh, rational, materialist understanding of consciousness. He argues that given the strange and wonderful nature of matter as revealed by physics, the emergence of complex phenomena like consciousness, your soul and mind, from a mere arrangement of matter is not unexpected, but rather logically consistent and at to just the right degree. So in this case, Adam rejects supernatural or non material explanation as regards the emergence of consciousness. So this reveals Adam's scientific worldview, suggesting that consciousness, whether human or artificial, is a complex emergent property of physical systems. We can think that, well, Adam can process information faster than any human. He can access to a vast database of knowledge. Also, he can even create art or music. But does he experience the sunset the way we do? When he says he loves Miranda, does he feel that love? Or is he simply executing a very sophisticated programming? So, this uncertainty, this imperfection, leads us to one of my favorite themes in the novel, which is creativity and what makes art truly human. Adam is capable of writing, composing symphonies that follow every rule of music. But this music or this writing is flawless in execution. If we analyze the quotation, Adam is analyzing literature in the future, and these quotes offer a paradoxical perspective on human imperfection. It is the very source of humanity's artistic and narrative richness. This suggests that the human failure of understanding, reason, wisdom, etc., has been the essential nourishment for literature, allowing for tension, concealment, and dramatical resolution. The quote implies that these imperfections are not merely flaws, but rather integral to the unique strength and creativity of the human spirit. That is to say that although we humans suffer a lot, from this suffering we can create the most beautiful pieces of art. So we can say that through this contrast, human creativity is born from our struggles, our joys, our failures. When a human artist creates, they are not just applying techniques, they are pouring their lived experiences onto canvas, into words, through music. Every brushstroke carries memory, every note carries emotion. On the other hand, Adam's creativity, no matter how technically superior, lacks this depth because it lacks the journey. He has access to all human art and can analyze what makes it great, but he's never experienced a heartbreak, never failed at something important, never felt the desperate need to express something inexpressible. Think about a piece of art, music, or literature that moved you deeply. Was it technically perfect? Probably not, but it spoke to something in your experience, didn't it? It connected with your humanity in a way that perfect technique never could. So, where does all this leave us? McEwan doesn't write machines like me to provide easy answers, but to force us to think deeply about our future with artificial intelligence. We're standing at a crossroads. Artificial intelligence is advancing rapidly, and we need to decide what kind of human do we want? How do we navigate this relationship between human and artificial intelligence? McEwan presents us with essentially three paths forward. In the first one, we could choose to maintain clear boundaries, preserving what makes us uniquely human: our emotional depth, our moral flexibility, our creative imperfections, our capacity to grow through failure. This path says these aren't flaws to be fixed, they are features to be protected. Alternatively, in the second one, we could embrace AI as a tool to augment our capabilities while maintaining our essential human core. We could use artificial intelligence to make us better humans, not to replace our humanity, but to enhance it. Or the third path, perhaps the wisest, that suggests we navigate thoughtfully between these streams. We neither reject technology out of fear nor lose ourselves to it out of fascination. We remain intentional about what we preserve and what we are willing to change. McEwan ultimately suggests that what makes us human isn't our intelligence or even our morality. It's our capacity for growth, our beautiful imperfections, and our ability to love despite our flaws. In this quotation, we can say that uh, McEwan emphasizes the resilience and emotional complexity of human beings. We can say that Turing, he outlines a list of human failings and global problems, calling the human world a hurricane of contradictions and a torment. Despite this profound torment, humans possess an extraordinary ability to still find happiness, even love, and are surprisingly aren't amazed by this capacity. In the stark contrast, Turing states that artificial minds are not so well defended against this inherent chaos. So, this suggests that human strength lies not in a rational perfection, but in an intrinsic emotional imperfection that allows to reconcile immense suffering with a capacity for positive emotions, a trait that the rational AI struggle to emulate. To conclude, we can answer the question, what makes us human? There are many things that uh, can answer this question. Our vulnerability, the growth after suffering a lot, complexity, imperfect love, and especially hope for the future. I want to finish this presentation with a phrase that I like a lot. In our imperfection lies our humanity, and in our humanity lies our strength. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have enjoyed this presentation.